Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Now, a lot has happened in the political world, more so within the Orange Democratic Movement in the past 1 week or so. Now, most recently are the two rallies held yesterday, one in Kitengela, Kajiado County, led by embattled Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, and the other in Tononoka, Mombasa County, led by interim party leader Oburu Oginga. Now, the two separate rallies were different in their own ways, but this comes even as the infighting and the wrangles within ODM threaten to widen the rift in the country's, or arguably the country's, strongest political outfit. The question is, will ODM stand the test of time? Just 4 months after the death of its party leader, the late Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Now, this particular evening, I'm joined by two politicians allied to the Orange Democratic Movement, and that is one, Honorable Esther Passaris, the woman representative of Nairobi County, as well as Honorable Peter Masara, the legislator of Suna West. But before I introduce them, let's just have a look at what happened in Kitengela, Kajiado County, and then we'll continue this conversation.
Chama cha watu kuna chama cha ODM, lakini sisi tuna wanachama. Wako na chama lakini sisi tuna wanachama. Wakienda State House wanawacha vijana wapi? Sasa wale wengine wanajaribu kuuza chama cha ODM kwa Ruto. Tunawaambia Bwana Ruto, kama umewapatia deposit, waambie wakurudishie pesa yako. Wale wachezaji wa kulipa wako Mombasa pale, wamekula pesa kuenda kuuza chama na hatutakubali. Hawa vijana mimi ninawashika, hawatataka kuleta mchezo, wanaenda kuchukua serikali. Kwa mapenzi ya Mwenyezi Mungu, nasimama hapa Kitengela tarehe 15 mwezi wa pili mwaka 2026 nikiwa bado katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we have a look at whatever happened in Tononoka, because we'll also listen to what those allied to the Oburu Oginga-led faction had to say in Tononoka. Let me begin with you, Honorable Esther Passaris. The decision by the ODM party to oust Edwin Sifuna as the Secretary General, of course, a decision that was stayed by the court, seems to have emboldened him, and some argue that this could be the reincarnation of Raila Odinga. And in fact, they've said that the real ODM was in Kitengela, not Tononoka. First of all, what do you have to say in regards to all that has been happening to Edwin Sifuna? Is this the reincarnation of Raila Odinga?
Okay, first of all, reincarnation doesn't happen the way you're saying it. He was already a living being. So unless you're saying he's been possessed by the spirit of Raila, he hasn't been reincarnated. Because for somebody to be reincarnated, you couldn't have been existing simultaneously. So it's the wrong terminology. I think what's happening is, I'm in the NEC, I'm a member of the NEC, and one of the things that Raila Odinga did for ODM, which is celebrated not just in the continent of Africa, but all over the world as a strong political party, is to create structures in our party. And I remember being invited once to a launch of a political party in the Congo, in DRC. And the reason I was invited was because this party wanted to twin with ODM. And I am the Secretary of International Affairs in ODM. And they wanted to twin with ODM because ODM has structures. Now, Edwin Sifuna, Senator Edwin Sifuna, knows that ODM has structures. And as the Secretary General of the ODM party, he has been an absolute letdown, because he believes that he is bigger than ODM. He's a member of ODM. Through the NEC, we've realized something, that he doesn't respect the structures. And towards the end, he didn't even respect our party leader. And that was really sad, because I know there were several occasions when the party leader actually called him and said, tone down. Okay? We are in a 10-point agenda. We are in a broad-based government, tone down. But you see, he didn't listen to Baba. He didn't. And that is really sad. Okay, it's really sad because I think there was, you can, you know, as a Secretary General, if you understand the role is to communicate what has been decided by the various structures of the party, not your own personal opinion. So you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't be the Secretary General of the political party, and then the party has gone into a broad-based arrangement, and the party is come out with a 10-point agenda, and then you go out there and you basically demean that arrangement.
Okay.
All right? You demean that arrangement. As an individual, he can do that.
Okay.
But as the SG of the party, even to disrespect the decisions that we made towards, you know, when Raila died, the vacuum, appointing Oburu Odinga as the acting, then confirming him in the NGC, in the Central Committee in the NGC,
okay.
and then the NEC. So for me, I feel that as a Secretary General, he has let his personal opinions and his personal views become communications from the office that he holds.
Okay, fair enough. It's good you've alluded to Raila Odinga. Not once, not twice. Raila Odinga defended Edwin Sifuna from critics who said he was going against, you know, the broad-based government. And Raila Odinga, in his own words, said, "Let Sifuna speak. This is a party that, you know, this is a democratic party. Everybody has, you know, the liberty to, you know, give their own views, and the views of Sifuna should be accommodated." Why is it that just 4 months after Raila Odinga, you know, died, the new leadership cannot be able to, you know, condone the freedom of speech within the party?
One of the things that I think is really sad is that much as Raila allowed the freedom of speech, he had a way of talking to people on the sidelines, all right? And I think he did that with almost everybody, even with myself. When I had the public order bill, we did talk. All right, and he understood where I was coming from. When I supported the Finance Bill 2023, we did talk. All right, and I believe that when Raila saw something becoming overbearing and too much, he would also talk about it. And there are people who are around the circles of Raila who actually said that, you know, I said to them, I said, why did Baba allow this? You know, he says Baba actually talked to him. And if Sifuna were honest, he would actually say, yes, Baba did talk to him. But what happened as soon as Baba died, he went on a rampage. And it became even difficult. I think he started now, you know, I mean, you associate with people that Baba disassociated from, you start praising them, you're the party, you're the SG of ODM, you are running around with DCP because you feel DCP is the one that could bring you the seat.
Fair
so
enough.
There's all that confusion. And I feel that confusion in itself is what is, you know, we looked at it, and even to go on national TV and lie that we did the wrong thing when it came to Oburu Odinga, and you actually were the one who administered the oath. So for me, I feel this, you know, it's just playing to the public gallery and trying to be a populist rather than the SG of the ODM party. The SG of the ODM party should actually sit, and I'll tell you one thing, even Oburu Odinga actually called him and sat with him and tried to talk to him, but he doesn't want to listen. He's gone amok.
Just before I engage on Honorable Masara, you've said Edwin Sifuna has been running around with DCP. At what point in time exactly, and who did he, you know, run with within the DCP?
I mean, come on, if you look at Kitengela, I know there were a few buses ferried from Nairobi, matatus ferried, you know. Normally when I think UDA does its thing, it does it very transparently. You have school buses and you bring people. Here you had buses from Kawangware,
Which individual are you talking
Lakisama,
about? Which individual of the DCP party? Because you alluded to him.
I mean, the DCP party has Wiper. You take a function to Kitengela, you have people from the community, the Wiper supporters there. You have the DCP, the Kikuyu supporters that are there. And then, you know, you have a few ODM supporters that you try and ferry from Nairobi. So at the end of the day, for me, it's like, fine, you have a rally, you want to make it, you know, they criticize UDA when we mobilize, or broad-based when we mobilize, but they themselves do it, all right? So for me, I feel, you know, what is going on right now is that within ODM, here you are, you've gone to court and you've stopped it, but I want to tell you something.
Briefly.
The structures of ODM, it's the NEC that makes the decisions on whether the SG is Sifuna or not.
Okay.
It's the neck.
Honorable Masara, Raila Odinga championed for inclusivity. And one of the things that the Sifuna-led faction talks about is that, you know, you're not including the dissenting voices within the party. They're not being heard. So how then can you talk about championing inclusivity when dissenting voices cannot be heard within the party?
You may be right, you may be wrong. ODM is a democratic movement. It's not even a party, it's a movement of Democrats. I want to correct a statement you made that you are comparing Sifuna and Raila.
Yeah, no, that is what experts are saying.
No,
my words.
Which experts?
That is an insult to
We did run a story
Raila
here.
supporters. That's an insult to Raila supporters. Raila was more than a party. Raila was an institution which is international. Actually, we didn't realize who Raila is until he died. You can compare for Raila to be Raila, he went through several challenges and he stood for issues which he started talking about before even multi-party democracy. He has been consistent on those issues. Sifuna is a joyrider. If you remove ODM and Raila from Sifuna Sifuna cannot even be an MC of a ward in this Nairobi. I can tell you for free.
Bold for man who garnered more than 700,000 votes in
those were Raila. Let me tell you, young people have problem. When you have delegated popularity, you think it is you. How many? Ababu came that he was very popular at a given point. I was part of the Young Turks by that time. But we were riding on what the foundation and the structure Raila has put in place. If they are men enough, let them exit ODM or form ODM asili. They start running with that ODM asili. Look at the people who are from ODM who attended that rally. Majority of them, because they were not given the right chair committees they wanted. That's why they are making noise.
When you say majority, what exactly are you talking about?
I'm talking about Oundo. I'm talking about Miss who was supposed to be. He's a very close friend of mine, I can tell you, at a personal level. But why is behaving this way? He wanted to be the chairman of PAC.
Yeah.
And he was denied. Because he was my vice chairman at PIC. And the guy, the honorable member, currently the chairman of PAC, was the vice chair of the PAC by then. So ordinarily, there was no way you bypass a chairman who has been there for 3 years, you bring new person to lead. It was not normal. Oundo also is in that committee, you were with him, even the last parliament. He wanted to be the chair. So these people, to some extent, they are pushing their personal agenda, not the public agenda. If you look at Raila, Raila was always consistent with the interests of the public. You have mentioned inclusivity. It was talking about strengthening devolution. It was talking about rule of law. It was talking about, just give me a minute.
Okay.
It was talking about corruption-free country. And it was giving very bold examples of countries which were at a given point borrowed money from Kenya.
The issue of corruption, Honorable Masara, that is one of the things that the Sifuna-led faction is talking about.
Themselves, they have been accused that they take money, they take bribes from the Senate when the governors appear before them.
Pretty much, like you've said, it is an accusation yet to be substantiated.
Even their claim that they are talking about corruption, it's just a message. If we go through their lifestyle, and if you are accused where there is smoke, smoke cannot come where there is no fire. So we need to go deep into this smoke and find which fire is it particularly. So just allow me to say something about Raila.
Briefly.
Raila stood for justice, corruption-free country, inclusivity. Then the last 10-point agenda, the issue of compensation for those who lost their life and property during agitation for better country. They were to be compensated because they are our heroes.
Have they been compensated?
He wanted them to be compensated.
Have they been compensated?
Not yet.
It's
kindly.
According to Raila's own strategy, because he was our leader, he's still my leader to date because I believe in his ideologies. According to Raila, why do we go to the street? Why do we go to the election? Why do we form political parties? One is to grab power and resources and give people development. After 2022 general election, he was supposed to be a very bitter man, but because he loved this country more than himself, he decided to work with William Ruto. Why? Because this country was bigger than himself. And he demonstrated that when the Gen Zs went on rampage, he decided not to follow the Gen Zs. Any shellfish people like Sifuna will have gone with the Gen Zs so that this country can go down the drain. Just give me time. Now, when Raila gave Sifuna, the Secretary General, Wanga, to be the chairperson of the ODM, Raila was not sick. Raila was very stable. In his own wisdom, he decided to let these people run the party. Who is Sifuna now to question Raila? And unfortunately, he's doing it after the Raila's death. No, now we can't question. Yes, when you are opposing Wanga as the chair,
Sifuna was vocal even
they are talking about few people in Mombasa who went to sell the party. They are selling it to who? Because the agreement was done between Raila and William Ruto.
Let's be clear, Honorable Masara, because Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General of ODM party, was vocal even when Raila Odinga was alive, and that is where Raila Odinga defended his stance.
What was there? You can have your own son in a bigger family. They are black sheep in the family. You don't disown them. In the eyes of the public, you try to defend them, but internally, you must put them to order. Because he was the Secretary General and there was Raila's son.
Okay.
So what we can say is that, I know, KTN of late, you are doing your work, the opposition work. I love it.
We are a neutral media house. You can't say we're doing opposition work.
I doubt that. Because in any transition, there must be problem, especially for political party, both in mature and immature democracies. Even look at what happened in America. The Republican, Trump was not qualified to be a candidate, but he bulldozed his way and became the president through Republican. So ODM, because of the death of Baba, replacing Baba is not easy. I can tell you for free, it's not easy. And Oburu Odinga did not even apply to be the party leader. But let me tell you, the decision of the Central Committee to make Oburu acting party leader was the best in the history of this country. Otherwise, we will have 4 ODMs. Now we have one ODM. Actually, we have one ODM.
Fair enough. We need to take a break.
Sympathizers of DCP
we need
within
to take a break.
ODM.
We need to take a break, but I just have to set the record straight.